Lamelo Ball's had a sparkling career so far, and an even better one in the future with how he's performing right now. So if you want to know all about his win against the Sacramento Kings and his future in the NBA, keep watching this video. Let's dive in. First off, let's talk about why the fans are already concerned about the future of the Hornets. With most keeping closing tabs on the Charlotte Hornets after their series of losses, a text comes in from an inquirer who's seeking the same answer as many others. And not one of the never-ending concerns is with the team's wide array of injuries, or if so-and-so player will be able to go against the Hornets' opponent that night. They're all concerned about the future, looking for some explanation given the team's current position. One of the questions asked was, "Just curious, do the Hornets have their own 2023 draft pick?" The Hornets have experienced more frustration than excitement through the first third of the season that was meant to see them pick up where they left off in April and make a bigger leap into the playoffs. That's why the Hornets could breathe a sigh of relief after escaping with a 125-119 victory over Sacramento at the Golden One Center on Monday night, thanks to a tremendous fourth quarter performance by Lamelo Ball, halting an 8-game losing run. That excitement, unfortunately, didn't last long. With the Hornets, we've already arrived at the end. Despite the fact that even the calendar has not yet turned to the new year, people are already looking ahead to the upcoming offseason. The concerns and speculations started swirling even before the Charlotte Hornets were knocked out of the season following their loss to the Atlanta Hawks 132-103. Next, let's look at if the Hornets were still hopeful of making it through. Just to get that one win, it just felt great, Ball said. It's definitely a big win. One can turn into two can turn into three. So just getting that first win's always good. The Hornets, 8-23, have had a particularly poor record in terms of wins this season, and it gets harder to get them with each injury. It had widened a then already tiny margin of error, making it increasingly challenging to win games. Clifford noted drooping heads and sagging shoulders on Sunday, a mood spurred on by the Hornets seeing Terry Rozier limp around after diving on the floor for a loose ball in the second quarter of their loss in Denver. Due to a right hip injury, Rozier missed the remainder of the game and didn't even play against the Kings. It was evident how every injury steadily dropped morale until they finally gained their victory over the Sacramento Kings. The Hornets are used to boasting a long injury list. Most of their season's been played without Ball, Gordon Hayward, Cody Martin, and a big portion without Dennis Smith Jr. Clifford had to talk to his team before their showdown with Sacramento, 16-13, to relieve any potential mental anguish, because we're sure it's safe to assume that they were thinking about these 79 games they had lost due to player injury. When Lamelo was finally fit to play, Clifford was certain that having him and Gordon back would make them a better team. He was even more hopeful that once he had his entire team back from their injuries, they would function even better as a single unit. Let's dive into how Lamelo helped the Hornets get their win. Due to ankle issues, Lamelo had only participated in 7 games till then. As a result, he was still working to get rid of whatever rust might still be lingering before the game with Sacramento. Ball only managed to rack up 3 points in the opening period of this game, but he had a tale of two halves, scoring 23 points and dishing out 12 assists in just 27 minutes. Ball committed fouls for most of the evening. When there was still no clear winner in the game's last 35 seconds, he fouled out. Even so, the Hornets defeated a strong Kings squad. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, their top players, scored a total of 65 points together. 3 additional players for them also scored in the double digits. They were well-rounded in their performance, but the Hornets excelled. They made smart decisions with the ball down the stretch, moved the ball around the perimeter effectively, but most importantly, they stringed together effective stops. This is something head coach Steve Clifford undoubtedly appreciates appreciates, given that he questioned his team's efforts in that regard a week earlier against the Detroit Pistons at home. It's important to have everyone converse and participate on that end of the floor. Ineffective defense may eventually make offense simpler. Lamelo Ball benefited from his team's energy in that respect. A career high for him, he was able to put up 16 points in the fourth quarter. Following up, we see what went wrong for the Hornets. De'Aaron Fox, playing for the Sacramento Kings, had his night to shine when playing against the Hornets. De'Aaron Fox scored 37 points in 34 minutes, tying his season high on 56.0% shooting. He contributed 5 assists and 2 rebounds and made 77.8% of his free throw tries, while making 40.0% of his three-point attempts. Fox, a sixth-year guard who's now played in 12 games versus the Hornets, set a new career high with 37 points against Charlotte. The Hornets also failed at forcing turnovers that night. The Kings had the fewest turnovers versus the Hornets this year with just 8. The 8 turnovers are also tied for the fewest for Sacramento in a game this year, and no individual Sacramento player had more than 2 for the entire contest. Let's learn more about why LeVar Ball says Lamelo will never play for the Lakers. LeVar Ball wanted nothing more than for his oldest son, Lonzo, to be picked by his hometown Lakers more than 5 years ago. And he got his wish. Everything was going according to his plan when he was chosen with the number 2 pick in the 2017 draft, until it didn't. Early in Lonzo's career, the Lakers struggled, and they finally moved him to the Pelicans along with other high draft picks and other players. The question of whether LeVar wanted his youngest son, Lamelo, to ever wear the purple and gold came up 3 years after the trade. Common sense would tell you, hell no, he said. Also added that he would be stone cold crazy to let his other sons join the Lakers after what they did to his oldest son, Lonzo. Lamelo, who's regarded as one of the NBA's top young players, was picked for his first All-Star game last year. Lamelo was chosen with the 3rd overall pick in the 2020 draft, so it's doubtful that he'll be traded anytime soon. The Hornets point guard's father continued to repeat his position by saying he'd never want him to represent Los Angeles. Although he didn't specify which, LeVar continued pushing his long-term objective of having his 3 sons play for the same NBA team. He claimed that the coach's character mattered more than the organization. While LiAngelo is currently suited up for the Greensboro Swarm, a G League team, Lonzo is playing for the Bulls. Let's talk about LaMelo's journey till the Hornets. LaMelo's a remarkably adaptable offensive player, which is made clear by his diverse shooting abilities. He has a wide range and frequently spots up way beyond the arc. He can navigate through off-ball screens and handouts and launch on the go. Closeouts or a hand in his grill don't bother him. When compared to his final high school season with Spire Institute or his early NBL days with the Illawarra Hawks, the stability he displays on his threes is a startling improvement. Because of Ball's fearsome long ball, defenders are quick to bite on fakes or throw rushed closeouts his way. He can consistently use his jumper to open up driving lanes and opportunities to scatter the defense. He was able to take advantage of those opportunities thanks to Charlotte's abundance of dependable floor spacers, his superb passing vision, and his quick processing. Let's look at how Lamelo made a name for himself with and without the Hornets. The Hornets have never had more eyes on them than during Lamelo Ball's era. He thrives both on and off the court. With butts on the chairs and eyes glued to the TV last season, almost 90% of Hornets season ticket holders decided to renew their deals, and 2,200 additional professional fans decided to join them. Even before being drafted, Ball was an extremely divisive prospect. He had a signature sneaker while in high school, scored 92 points as a sophomore at just 15, got a Lamborghini for his 16th birthday, and appeared on the reality TV program Ball in the Family, which followed the family's personal and professional lives. Because of his father and his extravagant life, Ball has always had a lot of critics and, quite frankly, haters. But there was no denying his brilliance as a basketball player. The general consensus now is that Ball's skill level in games is way beyond his years. He's currently one of the league's most promising young players and has the potential to be the face of a franchise. He can undoubtedly improve some aspects of his game, such as his finishing, but he possesses the skills needed to consistently be an all-NBA player. Following up with Lamelo's future with the Hornets. Despite his history of injuries and the bad seasons his teams experienced, Melo seems content in Charlotte. Still, he understands that winning takes time, and he's been patient with the Hornets. On the other hand, some people think he was built for a place like Los Angeles, so maybe LeVar will have to put on the purple and gold once more if Melo decides to join the Lakers. Lamelo says he's quite old-fashioned in the sense that if he joins a team, he intends to stay there for a long time. He says especially if you get a high pick, and even if the team's not the best, he would want to stay and help build that team up, which he's in the process of doing with the Hornets. The three greatest players of all time, Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks, Tim Duncan with the Spurs, and the late Kobe Bryant with the Lakers, stayed with their original teams from the beginning to the end, which is unusual in today's era. If that stands true, Ball and the Hornets no doubt have a bright future for years to come. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let us know your favorite moment of this season in the comments below. If you want more videos like this, we will see you in the next one.